The strange thing about love is that it rarely arrives with fireworks. More often it begins with silence. A quiet thought that refuses to leave your mind. A memory that appears without invitation. A feeling so persistent that no amount of work, success, or distraction can erase it. If you're thinking about someone right now, someone who has become a part of your thoughts in ways you never expected, don't rush to dismiss it. Sometimes the heart notices what the eyes have not yet understood. Sometimes the greatest journeys begin with a single thought that keeps returning until you finally have the courage to listen. Thinking about you, my love, has taught me something that years of chasing money, building businesses, and overcoming impossible odds never could. Success fills your bank account, but purpose fills your soul. Wealth gives you options, but love gives those options meaning. I have stood in rooms where everyone applauded, where every achievement looked impressive from the outside, yet I discovered that even the loudest applause cannot replace the quiet peace of knowing that somewhere in this world there is someone whose existence reminds you why you started becoming your best self in the first place. People often believe that strength means never thinking about anyone else. They imagine the successful person as someone who never looks back, never misses anyone, never allows emotion to influence ambition. They couldn't be more wrong. Real strength is not the absence of emotion. Real strength is having emotions powerful enough to transform your character instead of controlling your decisions. The strongest people are not those with hearts made of stone. They are those with hearts disciplined enough to love deeply while continuing to build their destiny. Every empire begins with an idea. Every extraordinary life begins with a belief. And every meaningful relationship begins with respect, long before it becomes romance. That is why when I think about you, I don't simply imagine moments together. I imagine the person I must continue becoming, because the greatest gift you can offer another human being is not promises. It is personal growth. It is becoming someone whose actions consistently speak louder than words. Too many people search desperately for the perfect partner while refusing to become the kind of person that the perfect partner deserves. They ask why love hasn't found them, yet they neglect their discipline, ignore their purpose, abandon their health, and settle for average habits. Destiny rarely rewards comfort, it rewards preparation. The truth that changed my life is simple. Love is not a destination waiting somewhere in the future. It is a force that transforms who you are today. The moment someone truly matters to you, your excuses begin losing their power. Suddenly waking up early feels easier. Learning new skills becomes meaningful. Taking care of your body becomes an act of respect rather than vanity. Every improvement becomes another way of saying, when our paths fully align, I want to meet you as the strongest version of myself. There was a season in my life when I believed achievement alone would satisfy every desire. I chased goals with relentless determination. Every milestone became another mountain conquered. Every obstacle became another story of resilience. Yet after every victory came another question that echoed louder than the celebration itself. What is all this success for? That question forced me into a deeper journey than business could ever offer. It challenged me to redefine success itself. Success is not measured only by what you accumulate. It is measured by who you become while pursuing your dreams. It is measured by the peace you carry when no one is watching. It is measured by the integrity that remains when shortcuts appear easier. And above all, it is measured by your ability to inspire hope instead of fear in the lives of those around you. Thinking about you became a reminder of that truth. You became more than a person in my imagination. You became a symbol of excellence. Every difficult decision asked the same question. Does this choice move me closer to becoming the man I want you to know? Every challenge became another opportunity to prove that discipline is stronger than comfort. Every failure became another lesson, preparing me for responsibilities greater than myself. Life has a fascinating way of testing people before rewarding them. It introduces uncertainty before clarity. It demands patience before fulfillment. Diamonds endure unimaginable pressure before revealing their brilliance. Trees spend years growing invisible roots before anyone admires their height. The strongest foundations are always built beneath the surface, long before the world notices the structure standing above them. Perhaps your own journey feels similar. Perhaps you've wondered why certain doors closed, why certain relationships disappeared, Why certain dreams seemed delayed while everyone else appeared to move ahead. But what if those delays were not punishments? What if they were preparation? What if every disappointment was quietly shaping a future that required a stronger version of you? The universe has no obligation to explain its timing. Your responsibility is simply to continue preparing, because when opportunity finally arrives, it never asks whether you're comfortable. It asks whether you're ready, and readiness is built in ordinary moments. It is built when you choose discipline instead of excuses, when you choose learning instead of complaining, when you choose gratitude instead of bitterness. These small decisions rarely make headlines, yet they quietly determine the direction of an entire lifetime. As I think about you, I realize something extraordinary. Love should never make you smaller. It should expand your vision. It should awaken dreams that fear once buried. It should remind you that your potential is far greater than your current circumstances. The right connection doesn't distract you from your mission. It strengthens your commitment to it. There is a difference between missing someone and being transformed by the thought of them. Most people experience the first. Very few experience the second. Missing someone is emotional. Being transformed by someone is spiritual. It changes the way you wake up. It changes the standards you set for yourself. It changes the conversations you have with your own mind when no one else is listening. Thinking about you has become more than a feeling. It has become a compass. Whenever life becomes noisy, whenever doubt tries to convince me that the road is too difficult, your image reminds me why quitting has never been an option. Because the future I see is too valuable to abandon for temporary comfort. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment where talent is no longer enough. At that point, only purpose remains. Purpose is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Purpose is what whispers, "Take one more step," when everything inside you wants to stop. I have learned that extraordinary lives are never built in moments of excitement alone. They are built during ordinary mornings when nobody is watching. They are built when you choose consistency over convenience. The world celebrates the championship trophy, but it rarely notices the thousands of lonely hours spent preparing for it. That is where greatness is born, not under bright lights, not in front of cheering crowds, but in silence while everyone else sleeps, while excuses grow louder, while discipline quietly keeps its promises. Every morning, I ask myself a simple question. If today were another brick in the foundation of my future, would I be proud of the way I placed it? Because no skyscraper appears overnight. Every magnificent structure is simply thousands of ordinary bricks placed with extraordinary consistency. Successes works the same way, love works the same way, character works the same way. People search for magical breakthroughs while ignoring daily habits. They pray for opportunities while refusing to prepare for responsibility. They dream about abundance while living with a mindset of limitation. But life has an interesting rule. It expands whatever already exists inside you. If your mind is filled with fear, success will magnify your fear. If your heart is filled with purpose, success will multiply your impact. That is why your greatest investment will never be stocks, businesses, or real estate. It will always be yourself. Knowledge compounds, discipline compounds, confidence compounds, integrity compounds. And one day, without warning, the person staring back at you in the mirror becomes almost unrecognizable. Not because your face changed, but because your spirit did. Thinking about you reminds me that love should never become an excuse to stop growing. It should become the reason you refuse to settle. I don't want to meet you carrying unfinished excuses. I want to meet you carrying finished victories. I don't want to tell you about dreams I almost pursued. I want to tell you about mountains I climbed, because fear no longer had permission to control my future. Life has taught me something that money never could. Wealth can buy comfort, but it cannot buy conviction. Luxury can decorate a house, but it cannot build a home. Influence may attract attention, but only authenticity earns lasting respect. The strongest currency in the world is trust, and trust is earned one decision at a time. One promise kept, one sacrifice made, one difficult conversation handled with honesty, one moment of courage repeated until courage becomes identity. That is the kind of life I am building, not because perfection exists, but because progress does. Too many people spend their lives comparing timelines. They see someone younger becoming successful, someone richer buying a larger home, someone happier posting perfect photographs. Comparison quietly steals gratitude before you even notice it. But destiny has never followed another person's calendar. The sun never apologizes for rising in the morning. The moon never competes with the stars. The ocean never envies the mountains. Everything in creation fulfills its purpose according to its own timing. So why should your journey be any different? Your story was never meant to be a copy. It was meant to become a masterpiece. There were moments when life pushed me to the edge, moments when failure felt louder than faith. Doors closed without explanation. People disappeared without warning. Plans collapsed despite my best efforts. At first, I believed life was working against me. Eventually, I realized life was working on me. Every disappointment became resistance training for the soul. Every setback strengthened emotional muscles I never knew existed. Every rejection redirected me toward something greater. Sometimes the greatest blessing is not receiving what you wanted. Sometimes the greatest blessing is becoming someone capable of handling something even better. That realization changed everything. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" I began asking, "Who is this experience preparing me to become?" The answer was always the same. Stronger, wiser, more patient, more grateful, more fearless. And every time your memory crossed my mind, it reminded me that transformation is always worth the discomfort. Because one day when our paths finally cross completely, I don't want fate to introduce you to the person I used to be. I want destiny to introduce you to the person hardship created. Someone who learned that confidence isn't loud, it is calm. Someone who learned that real power doesn't need to prove itself, it simply exists. Someone who discovered that abundance begins in the mind long before it appears in the bank account. That is the secret very few people understand. Poverty is first a belief before it ever becomes a circumstance. Wealth is first an identity before it ever becomes income. The richest people are not merely those who possess money. They are those who possess vision. Vision sees opportunities hidden inside obstacles. Vision recognizes possibility where others only see problems. Vision refuses to surrender because it understands that temporary failure is simply tuition for permanent wisdom. Thinking about you reminds me to protect that vision, to guard it against negativity, to feed it with books, experience, meaningful conversations, and relentless action. Because dreams do not survive on hope alone, they survive on discipline. Every choice you make today is casting a vote for the person you will become tomorrow. Every hour invested in learning strengthens your future. Every excuse weakens it. Every act of courage expands it. Every act of fear shrinks it. The future is listening to every decision you make in the present. So choose carefully, choose growth, choose faith over fear, choose purpose over popularity, choose resilience over comfort, choose consistency over perfection. Because extraordinary lives are not built by extraordinary moments. They are built by ordinary decisions repeated with extraordinary commitment. And as I continue thinking about you, one truth echoes louder than all the others. The greatest love story is never about two people finding each other. It is about two people becoming worthy of the future they are destined to build together. That future isn't created by luck. It is earned, one disciplined day at a time, one courageous decision at a time, one unwavering belief at a time. And I know deep within my soul that every step forward, even the difficult ones, is carrying me closer not only to success, but to the life that has been quietly waiting beyond every challenge. There comes a moment in every extraordinary journey when you stop asking whether the dream is possible, and begin asking whether you are willing to become the person capable of living it. That moment changes everything. The destination no longer controls you. The transformation does, and perhaps that is why I keep thinking about you. Not because I need someone to complete my life, but because the thought of you reminds me to never stop becoming complete within myself. I have discovered that life rewards those who master themselves long before it rewards them with opportunities. Anyone can look confident when everything is going according to plan. But true confidence reveals itself when uncertainty becomes your daily companion. It is easy to believe in yourself after success. The real test is believing in yourself while success is still invisible. That is where champions are separated from spectators. Spectators wait for proof. Champions become the proof. Every morning they choose discipline before comfort. Every evening they choose gratitude before complaint. Every setback becomes another page in the story they will, one day, tell with pride instead of pain. Thinking about you reminds me that the greatest relationships are built by people who refuse to surrender during seasons when no one was applauding. Because lasting love, like lasting success, is never built on emotion alone. It is built on character. Character is what remains when excitement fades. Character is the invisible foundation beneath every visible victory. I imagine a future where we look back on the struggles that once seemed impossible. The sleepless nights, the unanswered questions, the fears we silently carried, and instead of wishing those moments had never happened, we smile because we realize they shaped the strength we now carry. We understand that every obstacle was a teacher disguised as a problem. Every delay was preparing us for responsibilities greater than we could imagine. The world often tells you to chase happiness. I disagree. Happiness is beautiful, but it is temporary. Purpose is stronger. Purpose gives meaning to suffering. Purpose gives direction to sacrifice. Purpose transforms ordinary days into extraordinary investments. When your life is driven by purpose, setbacks lose their power to define you. They become detours, not destinations. You stop measuring your life by what happened today and begin measuring it by who you are becoming over time. That shift changes everything. You no longer fear failure because you understand that failure cannot steal what discipline continues to build. You no longer envy another person's success because you recognize that your path was never meant to mirror theirs. You no longer seek approval from strangers because your identity is no longer rented from the opinions of others. Instead, you stand firmly in your own vision, calm-focused, unshaken. That is the kind of strength I hope to carry every day I think about you. Not a strength that dominates others, a strength that masters itself. The strongest people are rarely the loudest in the room. They don't need constant attention because their confidence comes from preparation, not performance. They understand that true power whispers while insecurity shouts. So, while the world races to be noticed, choose to become valuable. While others chase instant recognition, choose lasting excellence. While many search for shortcuts, choose mastery. Because shortcuts may save time today, but they often cost destiny tomorrow. I have learned that abundance begins long before money enters your hands. It begins in the way you think, the way you speak, and the standards you refuse to lower. An abundant mind sees opportunities where others see limitations. It refuses to let temporary circumstances become permanent identities. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your worst failure. You are not the criticism someone once spoke over your life. You are the choices you continue making today. Every sunrise gives you another chance to rewrite the story. Every challenge offers another opportunity to discover strength you didn't know you possessed. Every moment of courage plants another seed for tomorrow's harvest. So if you are listening to these words while carrying disappointment, hear this clearly. Your current chapter is not your final chapter. The road may be difficult, but difficult roads often lead to extraordinary destinations. The pressure you feel today may be shaping a version of you that your future will one day thank you for becoming. And if you are thinking about someone you deeply love, let that thought become fuel, not distraction. Let it inspire you to become wiser. Let it remind you to protect your peace. Let it encourage you to build a life filled with integrity, generosity, and purpose, because love that is rooted in growth does not weaken ambition. It strengthens it. Imagine standing years from now, looking back on this exact season. Imagine realizing that today was the turning point. Not because everything suddenly became easy, but because today was the day you decided that fear would no longer make your decisions. Today was the day you chose courage. Today was the day you chose faith over doubt. Today was the day you stopped waiting for permission to become extraordinary. Those decisions may feel small in the moment, but small decisions repeated consistently become remarkable lives, brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. That is how empires are built. That is how legacies are created. And that is how dreams become reality. So as I think about you, my love, I realize something beautiful. Perhaps you were never meant to be merely a destination. Perhaps you were meant to be a reminder to live intentionally, a reminder to never compromise my values, a reminder that success without kindness is empty, a reminder that wealth without purpose is temporary, a reminder that the greatest investment I can ever make is becoming someone whose presence leaves people stronger than before. If our paths continue together, I want us to build more than comfort. I want us to build significance, a life where our victories inspire others, a life where our resilience becomes someone else's hope, a life where generosity becomes our greatest measure of success, because true wealth is not counted only in what you own. It is counted in the lives you elevate. It is counted in the courage you awaken. It is counted in the legacy you leave behind when your journey is complete. So wherever you are today, remember this. Do not let fear convince you that your dreams are too big. Do not let failure convince you that your future has been canceled. Do not let temporary pain make permanent decisions. Stand up, believe again, work again, dream again, love again, grow again. Because the person you are becoming is already stronger than the person who almost gave up. And one day, when you look back on this season, you won't remember every obstacle. You'll remember the moment you decided that your future deserved more than your excuses. You'll remember the day you chose discipline over comfort, vision over fear, purpose over distraction, faith over uncertainty. And in that moment, you'll understand that every challenge, every sacrifice, and every silent prayer was shaping a life far greater than you could have imagined. So until that day arrives, keep moving forward with unwavering confidence. Keep building with patience. Keep believing when the evidence is still invisible. Keep preparing for opportunities that have not yet appeared. Because destiny has a remarkable way of meeting those who refuse to stop walking. And if these words find you at the exact moment you needed them, let this final truth stay with you forever. The life you dream about is not waiting for a different version of fate. It is waiting for a different version of you. Become that person, one decision at a time, and everything you have been hoping for will find a place in the story you are courageous enough to write. As these words come to an end, I want you to remember one truth that has changed my life forever. Thinking about you has never been about escaping reality. It has been about becoming strong enough to create a better one. Every dream I pursue, every lesson I learn, every challenge I overcome, and every victory I earn is another promise to the future, a promise that I will never stop growing into the person I was meant to become. If life has taught me anything, it is this: the greatest blessings are never rushed. The strongest trees take years to grow. The brightest diamonds endure unimaginable pressure. The most inspiring stories are written one difficult chapter at a time. So if your journey feels slow, don't mistake preparation for delay. Your season is shaping you for something your current perspective cannot yet fully see. To the one who may be listening, wondering if your dreams still matter, wondering if your efforts are enough, wondering if love, success, and purpose are truly waiting for you, don't lose faith now. You have survived every challenge that once convinced you it was the end. You are stronger than your doubts, wiser than your mistakes, and far more powerful than your fears have ever allowed you to believe. Keep building your future when no one is watching. Keep choosing discipline over excuses. Keep protecting your peace. Keep believing in your vision, even when the evidence hasn't appeared yet. Because every sunrise is another invitation to become the person your future is waiting to meet. And to you, my love, wherever you are, whether our paths have already crossed or destiny is still writing the pages that will bring us together, I want you to know this. I will keep becoming better. I will keep learning. I will keep growing. I will keep leading my life with courage, integrity, gratitude, and purpose. Not because perfection is possible, but because becoming better every single day is the greatest expression of love I can offer. One day we may look back at this very moment and realize that every setback was preparing us, every delay was protecting us, and every challenge was quietly building the foundation for a future far greater than we could have imagined. On that day, we won't regret the obstacles. We'll be grateful for them, because they shaped us into the people we needed to become. So never stop believing in your dreams. Never apologize for your ambition. Never let temporary failure convince you to abandon a permanent purpose. Walk with confidence, speak with conviction, love with sincerity, live with intention. And remember this whenever life tries to make you doubt yourself. The future doesn't belong to the strongest, the luckiest, or the most gifted. It belongs to those who refuse to quit when the path becomes difficult. So keep moving forward. Keep trusting the process. Keep becoming the person your destiny requires, because somewhere beyond today's struggles, beyond today's uncertainty, and beyond today's limitations, the life you've been praying for is already taking shape. And when that moment finally arrives, you'll understand that every sacrifice was worth it, every lesson had a purpose, and every step was leading you exactly where you were always meant to be. This isn't the end of your story, this is the beginning of the greatest chapter of your life. Now go forward with faith, lead with courage, love without fear, and become the legend you were born to be.